All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica from Iowa Valley RC&D, and I'm coming to you from North English, Iowa. I'm at home. My husband's at home too. I do have 3 cats, so I apologize in advance if they start doing things behind me. Just gonna try to ignore them. um, can I have everyone just to, if you're all familiar with the chat feature, could you maybe just drop a line in there and tell me if you're a farmer's market manager or vendor, and what farmer's market you either manage or you vend at, just to try out that feature and so I can see who we have here. Great, we've got Clear Lake. Osage, is that how you say it? Osage. Okay. Great. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and get started and share my slides. If at any moment I'm talking too fast, I'm trying to slow myself down for a video, but it's hard. So if I'm talking too fast, just like raise your hand with the little raise hand button, or type something into the chat, and I'll try to keep an eye on that and slow down. We're going to go through the slides first, and it's kind of just a basic overview of social media, kind of at a beginner level. And then just because of everything that's going on right now, we've also incorporated some tips for dealing with social media during all the changing times right now and COVID-19. And then at the end, we'll have time for questions and answers. And if there's anything you specifically would like to see me pull up on Facebook or maybe Instagram, we can go through that at that time. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Okay. I lost my chat feature when I switched. So, that's so weird. I don't know how to get it back.
I can let you know if something comes up in the chat.
Okay, thank you. That's like, it changed my whole view and I can't get it back. Okay. But you can all see my screen, or you can just pop on with your video or unmute yourself and holler at me to stop. Okay, so with social media, there's lots of platforms out there. And for the purposes of marketing and the purposes of what we recommend for farmers market managers and vendors are the big 3, which would be Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Certain platforms are definitely more useful, and you don't have to feel like you need to be on all 3. But we'll just break it down. If you're not familiar with what they are, on Facebook, you have a social profile. The users have friends, and it's available in languages from around the world. Instagram is owned by Facebook now. It is based on sharing images and like shorter text, and users have followers. And it's just a little bit more streamlined, way more visual. You can like and you can comment and share stories. And then Twitter is a microblogging platform where the character limit has increased. It used to be a lot smaller. But users send tweets to each other and to their followers and to their friends by tagging them. This slide kind of gives an overview of generally what kind of users you'll see on each platform. 68% of all people who use social media are on Facebook. It's definitely the most popular, and it's the best way to reach people. It's popular among 18 to 18-year-olds, but I wouldn't limit that by any means, because I think it's definitely the platform with the widest age range. People say, the 18-year-olds aren't on Facebook anymore, but a lot of them are. They just use it differently than someone who is 40 years old would use it. My mom uses it totally differently than my little sister, and from myself. 54% of Facebook users are female, 46% are male. But in general, Facebook's a great way to reach people of all ages, different interests. And because of Facebook's capabilities with like geo-targeting, you're able to reach people in your local area, which is really important for farmers markets. About a little over a third of all social media users are on Instagram. It's more popular with the younger age group, but it is growing as well. And it's also just slightly more female. And Twitter, there's about a quarter of all social media users on there. It also ranges down, like focusing kind of on the younger crowd, but not the teenagers. It's about 50-50. And here this kind of reiterates what I was saying with age groups, with Facebook being a great way to reach everyone from baby boomers to Gen Xers to millennials. It's a really great place to sell things. With the event capabilities are really nice, as well as Facebook Marketplace. Instagram is a great place to reach millennials and younger, and it's all about the visuals. It's all about having really great photos and video. And Twitter is a great way to reach young people, and it's a great way, especially if you're a really big brand, to reach people all around the world. In general, on all of these platforms, you can do really well, just for free. You don't have to invest a lot of money. It's completely free to set up a Facebook page. It's free to set up an Instagram account. If you want, after you figure out the platform and you get used to it and you are developing your social media strategy, you can put a little money behind the content that you're posting to promote it or run an ad. You might run an ad, just advertising your farmers market. Vendors might run an ad getting people to sign up for their CSA. If you have a really popular post that does really well, it would make sense to put a little extra money behind that and see if you can reach new followers. But in general, our recommendation is not to worry about advertising on social media right away. See what you can do organically, see what you can do for free first. And as you really get the hang of it, you can start thinking about paying for a little bit of marketing. So there are those 3 platforms, and sometimes people feel like they need to be on all 3 of them. They need to be doing all the things, but you really don't. I would highly, highly recommend that you focus on Facebook. And once you feel like you've got the hang of Facebook, if you can, it's really great to add Instagram, because since they're both owned by Facebook, they communicate really well together. You can set up your Instagram so that when you post on Instagram, it automatically goes to your Facebook, so that saves you some time. My other recommendation is not to invest a lot of your time and energy on Twitter. It's not going to make as big of a difference reaching people, especially in your local area, as you would be able to on Facebook and Instagram. And there's just a lot of noise to cut through on Twitter. It's heavily news, heavily politics. It's fun when like conversations and stuff get going on there, but for needing a tool to promote your farmer's market or your vendor business, Facebook and Instagram are definitely going to help you more than Twitter would. So this is just an example of what a Facebook page looks like and some of the great things, like what can you do to have a good Facebook page. This is the Waterloo Urban Farmers Market. They use their cover photo space to have their logo like really nice and big. And then they have their logo as their profile picture. That's a really great thing to do, to just set your profile picture as your logo and leave it. That way, the more people see it, they recognize your brand, it builds brand awareness, people know who you are on Facebook. If you want to switch something up, you can switch up the cover image more often. And then just being sure to fill out all the important details on your Facebook page, taking the time to add a location if your market has a permanent location. Adding, you can add hours in there, you can add a phone number, website, any of that kind of stuff that if you can fill it out to your full list, that will help people find you, find your market. Here's another example. The Grinnell Farmers Market uses their cover photo to show like their market date and location. They, a little farther down on the right, it says, typically replies within a day. That means the Grinnell Farmers Market, when people message them on Facebook, they're responding to those messages. And they also even added their Instagram handle. So people on Facebook who might also want to follow them on Instagram can easily do that. Here's a couple more examples of what you could do with your cover photo. Putting your dates, putting your location, you can see on the Cedar Rapids Downtown Farmers Market, they have the logo of their like main sponsor. So that's a great place for sponsor recognition. And on the Independence Farmers Market, we have kind of a nice little image that they had over the winter to let people know that they were looking forward to seeing them in the spring and summer. So when you're on Facebook and you're deciding what you're going to post for your page and your farmers market or vendor business, what you're creating or curating is content. So that is, it might be a post that's just text, it might be a photo, it might be video. The important thing to think about is, like, what do your followers want? Everyone's followers are different. They're different at they're active at different times. They're interested in different things. So it takes a little bit of experimenting to post different things and to pay attention to what they like and what they respond to. It's important to be genuine in your photos. I think a lot of people feel like they need to have really beautiful, professional, perfect photography, and that holds them back from posting a photo that they took on their cell phone. But in general, people really just want to see something that's real. They would rather see photos of the tomatoes at your farmer's market than a beautiful stock photo that you found. Experimenting with video is a great thing to do because a video is top right now. That's what people engage with most. It gets more interaction and engagement than photos alone. Photos are great. Like, if you can, always post a photo with your text. It's less likely to get missed in someone's busy social media feed. So if you are announcing that the market is doing this on Saturday, just posting that text, someone could scroll past it like fairly quickly, not even notice it. If you have a photo, it's more likely to catch their eye. And if you have a video, it's more likely to catch their eye, and they're more likely to like it or comment it or share it and interact with your page. When you have a Facebook page, it's a great idea to take advantage of the Facebook events. I know that things are kind of up in the air right now with events, especially with, getting canceled and social distancing. And when this is all over and when we're back to being able to gather in groups, definitely take advantage of putting your event on Facebook. Facebook gives a lot of attention to events. They promote events by putting them in your feed. I'm sure you've been scrolling through and it says that your friend is interested in such and such a concert or something. That's Facebook and their algorithms giving priority to those events and putting them in front of people. And it does that based on their interests and on their location. I like to go on, on a Thursday and look on Facebook and see what's going on in my area on the weekends. And that's how a lot of people figure out what they're doing for fun. And I'm sure we'll get back to that. So now's a great time to explore that events section. And if you haven't ever used it before, kind of click around and see what it looks like. Whenever you post any kind of content, don't forget to invite and encourage engagement. People have increasingly short attention spans. Even just think about yourself on your phone. We're always just scrolling through things. And even if we really like a page or really support someone, it sometimes takes a little extra effort to move your thumb from scrolling to liking that post or sharing that post. But if you ask for it, you're more likely to get it. So if you post something and you really need people to get the word out about it, don't be afraid to include in your text, please share with friends, or please tag a friend, or please like our post to help get the word out. Things like that will help boost engagement, and hopefully more people will see the post, and that you'll also increase your reach as well. And then if you have Facebook and Instagram, as I mentioned earlier, you can link your accounts. So that's just going into your Instagram account and setting it up to automatically post to your Facebook. It's pretty easy, and you can either set it up to do it automatically, or you could set it up to do it when you choose to do it. Sometimes people want to post different things on their Facebook than they would on their Instagram. But there's definitely no harm in just doing the automatic publish. I just would usually, if I post something on Instagram and it goes to Facebook, I would head over to Facebook just to double check that it looks like I want it to. Like if you tagged someone, did it tag them right? Sometimes things change there. But there's definitely nothing wrong with linking up those accounts and hitting two birds with one stone. So here we just have some examples of, and these aren't really farmers market or vendor specific, they're just screenshots that I took of my social media feed. You can see that that one on the far left from Muchness Sonia Mason, it's a little store, and her photo is actually vertical. So when I'm scrolling through my Facebook or Instagram and I'm scrolling past that image, it's going to take me like a few more fractions of a second to scroll past that image because it's longer, if that makes sense. And that might sound like a silly thing, but those fractions of a second really do make a difference. So if you can, when you're posting photos, think about how it would show up on a phone. And if you can, post a vertical or a square photo. Because as you can see too, in the middle section, I have a couple updates from Fat Daddies and Broad Street Market. That Fat Daddies post, it's just text. It's really short. It was really easy to scroll past. And the Broad Street Market, that photo, like, it's a beautiful photo. It's a great picture, but since it's horizontal, it makes it really tiny on a phone. So just try to think of that when you're taking photos and how that will show up on a phone, because most people are using social media on their phones instead of a desktop computer. And then on the far right, it's not moving, but it's actually a video. On Facebook, when someone posts a video, they kind of automatically play when you're scrolling through in your feed. And I screenshotted this one because it's just really eye-catching. All it was ice cream coming out of the machine, but it was bright blue and it was moving, and that like stopped me in my scrolling. So when you're on social media yourself, just pay attention a little bit to your habits and what catches your eye, and then try to adapt that to what you're posting for your page on social media. So a question we get a lot is like, how often should I post? Everyone's different, and there's a fine line between posting too much and posting too little, and we'll try to give you a few tips. So one post a day is like, it's ideal. It's a great goal to have, but it's not always attainable for everyone. And if like posting once a day feels really overwhelming, that's okay, and you're not the only one. and it might be something that you can think about ramping up to in the future, like a goal, where at the same time, posting twice a day is probably too much. If you post twice a day, you probably could have used one of those posts tomorrow or later in the week. And also just how closely you post together can make a big difference too. Even if you have something really exciting going on and you, I don't know, maybe you get carried away and you post 5 posts in like 2 hours, the chances of people seeing all 5 of those posts are really low, just because of the way that Facebook and Instagram algorithms work. You would be much better off to post something early in the day and another post at least 4 or 5 hours later, so that the people who follow your page have a chance to see both of those posts. Here's an example of a social media calendar that we share with our Boost participants that is just a really good starting goal. We recommend like starting with 3 posts a week. And what those days are and what times, that will vary depending on, you know, your own schedule and what your audience likes. So this is just a loose example where, say, Monday, you wouldn't post anything. And then on Tuesday, you would post around like 7 p.m. at night, you'd post about the farmer's market that's happening the coming weekend. Then Wednesday in the morning, you would post a photo of one of your vendors or you know, whatever's in season. Then Thursday, you take another break. And then Friday morning, a reminder about what's coming up at the market on Saturday or whatever that would be. And so it's just a nice, being able to put it in calendar form usually helps people plan it out. It gives you kind of a schedule to stick to, where Tuesday, you know, you're giving basic information. Hopefully you're reaching some new people. Wednesday is kind of like the fun content day, where once a week you can worry about which vendor am I going to spotlight, what can I do for a video, or what's in season, or is there some kind of recipe I can share, something like that. And then always having a reminder post later in the week, which if you've set up a Facebook event, that's a great way to use that, is to share that event later in the week and remind people. This is a global engagement chart. So engagement means that's when someone clicks on your post or likes it or comments or shares or any of those things that basically they interacted with your post. So the darker spots are when people are most likely to engage with a social media post. Keep in mind, this is around the world. It's all industries, it's all ages, it's all people. But it does show that in general, people are most active on social media, like over the lunch hour. Must be while they're at work, taking a break, checking Facebook, checking Instagram. But so this is a good thing to go by. I mean, it's when you're first starting out, it's a great idea to just try posting at between 11 and 1. But some people find that their particular audience is more active at 7 or 8 at night when they've put, you know, they're getting ready to put their kids to bed. Or I've had some of our participants, their followers are really active at like 7 in the morning. So they get up and like they schedule their post to go up at like 6 a.m. So it takes some like paying attention to and figuring out when your fans are most active on social media. When you set up your Facebook page, you can actually go in and start to track that and figure that out. This is on the back end of Facebook. If anyone needs help navigating to this section, I can send you like a step-by-step screenshot kind of thing. But you basically go to your page, and up across the top, there's an Insights link. And then down on the left-hand side, you can click on Posts. And at a glance, this shows me for one of our Facebook pages when our audience is interacting with anything that we post. And we have a pretty like kind of just a steady hill there where, I don't know, it kind of picks up around 6 p.m. just a little bit, but otherwise our followers are active all throughout the day. Other pages, there may be a spike. There might be like really low engagement, and then lunchtime there's this big spike. But this is just a great way to go back here and look and kind of see like, oh, if my followers are liking and commenting on my posts around 6 or 7 at night, I should probably either schedule or post my content to go up, you know, around 5:30 or 6. This section is also really helpful because there's a lot of analytics back here, and analytics can be really scary trying to figure out, you know, what people like most. But this is a quick way to see it. Instead of having to go back and look at your page and see who's been liking things and commenting on things, you can come back here, same thing, insights and posts, and below the time section, it shows all the posts you've ever published. It shows like what the date and time was. It shows the reach, the little yellow bar. Your reach is how many people that post was put in front of. It might be because they follow you. It might be because their friend likes you and their friend commented on your post and then they saw it. But basically, like that top post there, 313 people saw this post. They might have really looked at it. They might have scrolled past it, but it was in their Facebook feed. And then to the right of that, you can see how many like clicks each post got and how many like comments and shares and things like that. So it really helps you at a glance to come back here and see what's working. For us, that throwback to last week post, it got like really good engagement. It got like 51 clicks. But it didn't get a whole lot of reach. So like it's probably people that follow us and they're already a fan of us and they're already interacting with us. Where that post on December 18th, it has a lot of reach, but it doesn't have a ton of engagement. And that's okay, because certain posts you just want a ton of people to see. And sometimes you just want people to comment and like, but that can help you when you see any kind of post where that bar goes farther to the right than all the other posts. That's content you should be making more of, because that's content that people are liking. That's content that people are sharing. So the more you post of it, the more engagement you'll get and the more reach you'll get. And it's kind of this cycle, and it doesn't really happen overnight unless, you know, you have a viral sensation, but it's a great way to pay attention to that and just steadily build your audience and your brand awareness. So in addition to being a marketing tool, Facebook and Instagram are really great for communication. These days, consumers expect fast, easy information, and social media is the place to do that. So when you set up a Facebook page or an Instagram account, it's important to be responsive and to pay attention to any messages or comments that you get. Just experiment with different things to set it up for what works for you. Some people want to have an auto response on Messenger where anyone can message them and it kicks back a little like, thank you for contacting us, we'll follow up with you shortly. Because that takes like the pressure off to have to respond right away. If you do that, which is great and it's easy to set up on Facebook, just don't forget to go back and actually reply. I think that's the hardest thing, is since it kicks that little response out, you might forget that like you as the person, you actually have to go back and follow up on that message to the person who was trying to reach out to you. You can also set up notifications so that if anyone messages your page, you'll get that on your phone. I mean, it kind of depends on your preferences. I don't like to get those notifications because I manage multiple pages, and sometimes like with one swipe, I can get rid of all the notifications on my phone, and then I worry that I would miss a message from someone. So I'm on the opposite end where I just make time in my day to, like, you know, at a certain time, 11 o'clock every weekday, check my Facebook messages, make sure I followed up with people. And that's just what works best for me. So experiment with that, like maybe try setting up the notifications. If they drive you crazy, try to work it into your routine in another way. But always do reply if you can. Unless it's, very obviously something that's spam, but that doesn't happen very often with Facebook pages. It's important to reply. Facebook recognizes when you reply. If you're a fast replier, they give you like a little badge, like this person responds quickly. But it's just important not to leave those hanging and for people not to be able to get in touch with you. Also, pay attention to when people comment. Sometimes those are easy to miss as well. So just really paying attention to those notifications, looking in on your posts to see how they're doing. If someone comments, like at the minimum, like their comments or love it or do the little, like you can do the little laughy face at it or something. But that just shows them that a real person that manages the page saw their comment and appreciated it. It can happen that you might get a negative comment or a negative message. It's the social side of social media. Someone said that during a presentation once, and I'm like, oh, I'm stealing that because it's so true. And it's hard not to be reactive when someone complains or leaves a bad review or a nasty comment. I would recommend restraining yourself from deleting it unless it's, really vulgar or uses profanity or is just really, really inappropriate. If it's more of a complaint, your best course of action is to reply to that comment in a way that you can take it offline or take it out of the public feed. So if someone comments on a post about the farmers market and they complain that they couldn't find any parking, rather than responding to them and getting into some sort of social media argument, like reply to them, ask them, like apologize, say, excuse me, kind of say something, we're sorry to hear about your experience. Could you send us a private message or give us a call at, whatever phone number so that we can talk about this with you? Because that gives you an opportunity to make it more person to person instead of just a back and forth social media thing that's out for all the world to see, depending on how, nasty the person might get. And more times than not, like it's a simple like misunderstanding, or you can help them find out where the parking was or something like that. But just be positive. Remember that anything you put out there on social media, like everyone's gonna see, people are gonna judge you by it. And when your other followers see that you're responding in a positive, helpful way, that's really great for you. Here is, I talked about how you could set up an auto reply for messages. It's kind of buried in the back end, again, of Facebook. You go to your page, you go to inbox, and then there's a section where you can set up your automated responses. You can set it up for certain times, like, some people set it for if someone messages them outside office hours, they get the message. For example, Iowa Valley, if you message us after, what do we have it set here for? Anytime during those little red bars, they'll get the message that, hey, like we'll be following up with you. So, and that's why, that's how it can be easy to forget to reply to people, because if you just glance, you're like, oh, I already responded to them, it's fine. But just make sure if you set it up to go back in there and follow up with your messages. So we talked about engagement earlier with that's when people like or comment or share your content. The big question is always like, how do I increase engagement? And you can do that through, paying attention to what your followers like, using things like hashtags. So hashtags, we always get a lot of questions about hashtags because they're everywhere and they're used in so many different ways. They're used mainly in Instagram and Twitter. And if you don't know what a hashtag is, it's when, like, I think like it used to be called the pound sign, like on really old phones. And I always wonder if kids these days are going to like wonder what a pound sign is if they ever hear like hit the pound sign when they're on their phone. But so hashtags, you can use them on Instagram, on Twitter, you can use them on Facebook. They're not as useful, but it's not going to hurt anything. But on Instagram and Twitter, you can follow an Instagram or follow a hashtag just like you would follow an Instagram account. And I mean, like we said, there's not a right or wrong way. Hashtags can just be completely for fun. It's, like when people hashtag a phrase that they're saying or what they're doing. Or you can use hashtags to really become part of a community. For example, just an example close to me would be Iowa City. Their CVB has the Think Iowa City hashtag. And so when people are doing anything in Iowa City, whether they're eating out or they're shopping or going to some event, and they take a photo, they post it, they can hashtag Think Iowa City. And then anyone who looks at that hashtag can see all these cool things that are going on in Iowa City. And, it can be very community specific like that. It can also be bigger, like a statewide. The Iowa Tourism Office has the hashtag This Is Iowa, and they're always asking people to, whatever you post that has to do with Iowa, whether it's making Iowa a great place to visit or a great place to live, using that hashtag and showing people what Iowa is. Here are some examples of hashtags that are great for farmers market managers and vendors to use. On the left is hashtag Iowa Farmers Market. You can see like the little white box that says following. That's because I follow that hashtag. So it's just like following an account. Anytime anyone posts anything with that hashtag, like it usually ends up in my social media feed. And sometimes it's farmers markets that are posting the pictures. Sometimes it's the customers out going to the market. And you can see, the top ones, or you can see the most recent. But that's a great hashtag for you to start out trying to use. In the middle screenshot, you can see how Iowa Grown Market has used different hashtags. They've used some really like fun broad ones like I love carrots, and then some really specific ones like hashtag Iowa. So the hashtag Iowa, most people who are going to see that one are people who live in Iowa, people that are interested in Iowa things, whereas using the I love carrots hashtag, that's just really like fun and laid back. And I mean, anyone around the world could be seeing the I love carrots hashtag. So when you're thinking about your marketing strategy, just thinking about what's the hashtag, going to do for you. If it's a fun, like I love carrots or fresh carrots, that's just a really broad, fun way to use a hashtag. If you're trying to reach people in your community, try to use hashtags like Iowa Grown and Made in Iowa and hashtag Iowa Garden. Here are some more examples of some really local hashtags. Sites of Ames, they took a picture of their Main Street Farmers Market and used their community hashtag, which is Sites of Ames. Like Coffee Des Moines, then we've got like a hashtag Madison County. So try to look at other accounts that are in your community. Start with any kind of tourism office or chamber or people in the community that have a really established account, and just look at what hashtags they're using. If there's not one already, you can always create your own. You can create your own hashtag for your farmers market. And along the edge, I just kind of broke these down by, what's a really local hashtag, what's kind of, broader geographically, and what's really broad. Like hashtag flowers is going to have so many different pictures of flowers from all over the world. Doesn't mean you can't use it. Like I totally would. It's really fun to use still, and more people will see your stuff. But the people that see it might be across the world. They might not be the person you're trying to get to come to your farmers market. And just a few more examples. The Grinnell Farmers Market, if you're looking for ideas on how to use hashtags, especially as they relate to your community, like they're just one that they do it really well. Grinnell has several. They have the Grinnell, Iowa hashtag. Their chamber has the hashtag Get Into Grinnell and Shop Grinnell. And then they even have their own hashtag Grinnell Farmers Market. So those are just some ideas. Pay attention to what other people are doing and try to do the same. And then, as we mentioned earlier, the Facebook events are really a great way to promote your event when we're able to have events. And inviting your personal friends and family to like your Facebook page, and when you post something on your Facebook page, you can also share that to your own profile. So like you have your Facebook page for your business, but you also have your personal profile. Use your personal profile as leverage. You've got lots of friends and family members on there that, want to know what you're up to, want to support what you do. And so when you post something on your page, also share it to your personal so that they can follow your farmers market page or your vendor business. And hopefully that will help their connections be introduced to your page as well. Here's an example of what I was talking about with Facebook events. At the far left, it shows that like 3 of my friends were interested in this Gin Blossoms concert, and I would have never known about that concert had my friends not clicked that they were interested in it. And that's really the magic about Facebook events, is people don't have to RSVP, they don't have to like commit to it, but they can just click I'm interested and support, and that like helps get the word out. It helps show support. It helps keep it on their calendar and for them to get reminders about it. But it's really good for you, just because of how Facebook prioritizes that and putting it in people's feeds. Same thing over on the right, just an example of a little beer and chocolate event that happened. I saw that event because I follow that page. So if you create an event for your farmers market, your followers will see that as well. And in the background here, I kind of just have a landing page view of what it looks like when I look at Facebook events. So it'll show me, upcoming events in my area, what's popular with friends. It can break them down by category. So it's just a really great way to find out what's going on in the community when there are things to do. And here's an example, a couple examples of what your Facebook event might look like. The Uptown Marion Market, they create an event and then turn it into a series. So they basically have to sit down, create an event once, and they can put in all the dates and times. So that makes it really easy. And you can already see back when I took this screenshot, they had almost 800 people just interested in that. And on the flip side, the Cedar Rapids Market creates an event, just a separate event for each farmers market that they do, because their dates are a little different. They don't do it on a regular schedule. So they just create an event for each standalone market. So now I have just some tips that I've gathered, paying attention with what's going on in marketing, what's going on with social media, how you can really, manage your social media and during this time when like everything's changing on a day-to-day basis. But because of that, like people are on social media right now, maybe more than ever, because they want to know what's going on in the world. They want to know what's going on in their town. They are at home. Maybe they're out of work now, so they don't have as much to do. So, and with people, you know, with social distancing and events getting canceled, people really are craving people. They're craving human interaction. I know a lot of us that are working from home now, like get like weirdly excited for Zoom meetings because we can see each other's face and we can talk to each other. And, you know, it just like, it fulfills something socially. So now is a really great time to try video on your social media. Video is definitely the top performing type of content that you can post. It's what people want to see most. It's what they want. They click on and they share. So, you know, try out Facebook Live. Do a video. Let people know what's going on. Let them know what you're working on. Let them know what you're growing. Take them on like a tour of the farm. You can do the same thing by trying out Instagram stories. And again, you can set up your Instagram to go straight to Facebook so that when you post an Instagram story, it also becomes a Facebook story. And maybe you want to like, a lot of people are taking this time to try out TikTok, whether you're just seeing what it is or doing videos yourself, but it is, it's a growing social media platform. It's growing like crazy, and now would be a good time to try it out. Get on there, see what people are doing. It's basically an app that you can create these short little videos and edit them right in the app. People do fun challenges on there, but you can kind of tailor it and use it for whatever works for your market or your vendor business. But yeah, right now would be a great time to try video, use it to connect with your fans and your customers and show them that there's still a human behind the market, there's still a human behind your vendor business, and to keep those relationships strong. Another recommendation that goes a little off of social media, but if you have a website, create a COVID-19 page on your website so that if you're having to make any changes to your market or to any procedures that you have, or if you're a vendor, you know, maybe you're offering some kind of order online and pick up later, any of those kind of things, they can all live on a page. And keep it really simple. You know, if you've had to change something, put the text on there, put the date that you announced it so people can kind of know what's the most recent information about you. And use that as your kind of like hub to put any important changes that people need to know about your market or your vendor business. And that's not the only place they live, but that's the place where it all lives together. So that when you're also posting on social media, and you know, on social media, you can't always give as much information. You don't maybe want to give a 500-word post, but you can give a shorter post and then direct people to that page on your website for more explanation and more information. But it's just it's a really important thing for people to be able to find this kind of information right now. And it's a great way to direct them to somewhere where you can give them a little bit more context about what's going on, in addition to posting it on social media. And then while social media consumption is definitely up, it doesn't necessarily feel really healthy to be constantly consuming social media right now. And it's hard to not do it in a toxic way. So while people want to be on there because that's where they get their news, that's how they're connecting with their friends and family and the organizations and the businesses that they support, or even just how they are being entertained, how they're trying to take a break from all the news. That makes it really important for social media to be a tool that allows humor and positivity and all the good stuff to shine through. And you can do that. And people, it makes them happy to see really scenic, beautiful views of nature. and it makes them happy, like to, food makes everyone happy. So if there's a way that you can post content related to your market or business that can help lift people's spirits and be a little funny, you should do that. Like to not get caught up in feeling like your social media strategy right now needs to be all about the crisis and what's going on. Like find the good and share the good with your followers as well. But while you're doing that, make sure to be real too. We all know that, like, even though we can find the humor and we can find the good, it's still hard and people are struggling a lot. Businesses and farmers markets and farmers and everyone with jobs. So don't just get caught into a cycle of feeling like you only need to post a positive. Make sure you're really being authentic too. A lot of people have a really strong desire to help right now, but we don't all know how we can help. When we're stuck in our houses, how can we, help our local businesses? So, if there's something that your market or your vendor business is struggling with, now's the time to share that. It'll feel really vulnerable, but this is the only way that people are going to know how they can help. So make sure that if there are ways that people can help by ordering online and picking up or doing some kind of delivery, or if they can pay for something now, like a gift card, and then spend it later, that's something you can share on social media. If you're changing how you're doing things in your business to sanitize more or to help with social distancing, share those things. And when you're asking people to support you in all those different ways, you can also ask them to support you just by sharing what you're posting. Sometimes that's all the person on the other end can do, is to share and help spread the word, but it's still a really big help. And I think a lot of people are willing to help their local communities any way they can. Another thing would be to, as we're all getting inundated with news and articles and breaking stories, before sharing anything to your page, really take an extra pause. I'm sure we all take an extra pause when we're sharing it even to our own profile, because things can set people off. Social media arguments can happen so quickly. People misunderstand things. So before just sharing something to your page that you think, just having that gut reaction, oh, this feels like something I should share, taking an extra long pause and first really looking at it and saying, is it from a trustworthy news source? If it's not, you probably don't want to, if you can't really figure out where it came from, you probably don't want to share it at all, not on your page, not on your personal profile. And then even if it is from a trustworthy news source, think about, is it relevant to your page or your business, your brand, your mission? How does it relate to what you're trying to do for your market or your vendor business? And if you can't really figure out how it's relevant, it's probably something you should just share on your personal profile. But if there's some kind of national news about farmers markets, or if there's a great article about how community is coming together to support local businesses or farmers or something like that, that's really relevant to what you do. So that would make sense to post something like that and share it with your followers, if that makes sense. And then I just wanted to end with, I had a conversation with someone this morning about, sending out an email that they wanted to send about a new CSA that they're offering. And they felt like they just had all these stupid questions, and there really are no stupid questions right now. This is definitely a period of experimenting and trying this and seeing if it works, and if it doesn't work, really quickly having to turn around and try something else. And it's like that in real life right now. It's like that on social media. So I would just, make sure that you're inviting your followers and customers to call or email or message you if they have questions or concerns. Like this, how to buy things in the time of social distancing is like really hard to figure out right now, and how to like use services. My best example would be I had a vet appointment that I couldn't really cancel, and I was really happy that the vet was still open, but I didn't know like what I was supposed to do. So I just called them and I'm like, I feel really stupid, but like, what do you want me to do? Do you want, like, how do I pay you? How do I give you my cat? And they didn't make me feel stupid. They had this great process. They're like, you just show up, you give me a call, we'll come out and take your cat, and then you can call us and we'll process your payment on the phone. And so I think it just goes to show everyone is wondering what they should do, what they should do that's like the right thing, how they should handle money right now, how they should handle payments. So let people know it's okay to ask those things, so that they do ask, because if they ask, they're more likely to follow through. Be extra diligent with checking your Facebook messages and comments to make sure that someone wasn't asking a question that could really help your business right now, that you could answer, that you can get in touch with them. Make sure you're not missing anyone. And then just like, as you're telling everyone out there that there are no stupid questions, giving yourself that grace too, because we're all figuring this out. And especially on social media or with marketing, it feels really weird right now. It feels like, what should I be posting? What should I be doing? There are no stupid questions. So if you have questions afterward and you're like trying to figure something out, we've got all of our emails here, all of our social media coaches. I'm down there at the very bottom. You can email any of us and we'll like try to help you through it. We'll try to either send you the resources you need or help you ourselves. And yeah, these are also some resources we use to get the information that's in these slides. So if you're curious more about social media marketing, jumpermedia.co, sproutsocial.com is a great resource, and falcon.io. They have just some great stats so that you can figure out what you should be focusing your energy on, great tutorials on how to do certain things. And if this was kind of a beginner overview of the social media platforms and what to post and when and all of that. If you feel like you're ready for more and you want to learn how to create a social media strategy and, improve your photography and videography skills for social media, we also offer a one-on-one social media coaching program. We're just starting our new group this year, where we kind of work through a set curriculum one-on-one with participants to meet them where they are with their social media goals and their skills. And so it's completely tailored to each farmer's market or each farmer's market vendor business. If that's something you're interested in, just reach out to any of us on this slide, and we'll keep you in the loop on when there will be additional opportunities for that. Okay, so that felt like a lot. I about lost my voice there, but now I guess, what time is it? How are we doing? Okay, so we've got time. If you guys have any questions about anything I covered there or anything you're just wondering right now, feel free to chime in and we can discuss anything that you want to.
Thanks, Jess. You did a great job.
Thanks.
I know there's a lot of talking in a row, so it's overwhelming.
I was drinking so much water, my coffee got cold.
Oh. a real struggle. Any questions?
If you have questions later, yeah, like I said, feel free to email or look us up on Facebook, send us a message. If there's something you want to be, you want maybe just me to walk you through one-on-one, totally happy to do that.
I do definitely appreciate what you were talking about with COVID too, like not jumping to needing to feel like you have to post something, but if you find something appropriate, and especially I feel like the next month will bring more about specifically for Iowa as far as like what our next steps will be and what is comfortable. But
yeah,
in the meantime, it's like, oh yeah, Facebook events, that sounds great.
I know. Yeah.
Like, well, I have Market. I don't know. So
another good thing to do that could help just for inspiration is some of these other states that have warmer climates, they're already dealing with the impact to their farmers markets like in real time. Like they're not, some places are just, their farmers markets might not get started this year, where they've already been in their 12-month farmers market season and they've had to shut things down. So looking up some of those pages on Facebook, I mean, maybe like searching California farmers markets or any of the other warmer states, just see what they're doing, see what they're posting, see what people are responding to kind of gauge maybe what you can do or what you want to do, or what maybe you see what you don't want to do as we start to really get into the thick of it and we figure out what's happening for the year with events.
Yeah, for sure. This is one of those times it's nice to let our warmer climate friends lead the charge for us, right?
We also, our office has created on Facebook a Iowa Farmers Market Managers group. We created it as a way to keep in touch with the farmers market managers and vendors that we work with through our organization and through Northeast Iowa RC&D. And it's a place that it's a private group, farmers market managers only. We might consider doing something for vendors as well. But for now, this is for managers only, and it's just kind of a safe place to ask questions, share ideas. If there's a way that we at Iowa Valley RC&D can help connect people to the right resources, or maybe we can be the resource ourselves. Like you can search for the group and request membership. If you have any problems, email me, let me know. But we're just hoping to really like find ways to stay in touch and to share resources and share trustworthy news during this time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Cool. Well, if you don't have any questions, I think you might get an afternoon break.
Enjoy the beautiful sunshine, right?
Yeah.
Could be worse. Yeah. And well, Jessica, I have a quick question actually, just related to Boost. And I know we are signed up to participate in Boost for the one-on-one.
Yeah.
Do you have additional spots open? Like if anybody else was interested or any of our partner markets were?
I think if someone's really interested, we can find a way to make it work. Sure. Especially since this is going to be so virtual to start out with. Last year we met, most of our participants were in the Iowa City, Cedar Rapids area or Northeast Iowa. And so the Northeast Iowa coaches were able to meet with theirs. I was able to meet month to month, face to face with the people that I was coaching. But this year, at least for probably a couple months, it'll all be virtual. We're hoping that anyone who becomes a participant, we can eventually meet in person. But yeah, if this is something you'd be interested in, having that extra one-on-one support, we're adjusting our curriculum to, it still focuses on broad social media best practices, but we're also going to take into account everything that's happening with COVID-19. So it'll be specifically tailored to help you get through it, and what you can be doing on social media to help your market or vendor business. It's totally free. So yeah, if you're really interested, let me know, and I'm pretty sure we could still make some room.
Great, thank you. All right. Guess we got some quiet friends here today, which is all right. And let everybody go enjoy their afternoon. But thank you so much for the information.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Thanks for coming to the first Boost virtual presentation.